Hi there, Dr. Husser, and I'm coming to you in Module 3 with just some information I wanted to add about how to organize your research. So when you're conducting research, the amount of information available can be extremely overwhelming. And so I found it was important to do two major things, and those are figuring out a system for how to handle all of the information, as far as processing it, and then also organizing it. So I'm going to show you two things that I found especially helpful. The first is that I pulled a lot of journal articles, and I used Google Scholar a ton. I also used my university library. I pulled articles, I made them into PDFs if they were not already that way, and I sent them to the Notability app on my iPad so that anywhere we were driving or going around, I was constantly had my Apple Pencil and was reading and highlighting. And in Module 2, I shared a video about how it's important to not read from beginning to end journal articles because it's just not meant to be digested that way. So when you have your Apple Pencil or however you're doing this, you can run through the important parts that are mentioned in that video, highlight anything that works with or is supportive or good information. I shouldn't say supportive, but good information for you as you are researching the topic and trying to find the answers to your research questions. So, for example, I found this article and I sent it to my iPad and just highlighted a couple things, something from the abstract, anything as I was reading that I thought might be beneficial to my research, I highlighted. And then I went back through and copied and pasted it into this Google Sheet that I made for all of my everything I pulled, quotes that I pulled. So I pulled quotes on anything and everything. My topic was new teacher retention. And one of my questions was, why is there so much turnover? In the first 5 years, almost 50% of teachers leave the profession completely. But also, more importantly, the policymakers, how do they view that versus new teachers themselves? And as you might guess, I found quite a difference in what the policymakers think they should do about this and what the new teachers say actually is the problem. So anyway, after highlighting, I put every single one of these highlights separately into this Excel document. And basically I put the year, the APA citation, a link directly to the article because I saved these all in my Google Drive, the page number, the full quote. And then as I kept reading, the more I read, the more I found categories of ideas that were coming out of my research. You will be seeing the same thing in your small scale literature review. You should start to see some threads that are similar. So I have the threads listed over here. And so I found like a seminal author, Ingersoll, who, well, I won't go into everything about him, but achievement, how student achievement is affected, administration, age and gender, class size, compensation. So anytime I pulled a quote, I would decide how it fit into these themes, or did I need to add another category? I ended up with all of these categories of things related to teacher retention. So this particular quote I found related to cost and to future research and to mentoring, which interestingly enough, they found that they couldn't really make a correlation between mentoring programs and the improvement of new teacher retention. So anyway, I just kept digging through. I think I ended up with, like, I don't know, 1,900. I'm not going to dig all the way through there, but like 1,900 different references. I want to point out that some of these references that I've pulled, like a quote that I've pulled, has other people within the quote. So you don't want to quote, and this is really important, you don't want to quote a person who's quoting someone else. You want to dig through and find the person they were quoting, find their research, and go directly to the source. So that is something that is really important as you are looking through the research related to your topic. So that's just a quick overview. My suggestion, I mean, obviously it's not going to be as complicated as this, but you need some kind of system for how you're going to read. So for me, that was iPad and the Notability app and being able to highlight and make notes to myself and then send it back to my Google Drive. And then I copied and pasted from those articles into this document, which helped me sort the things that I was finding. And at one point, I hired a local college student to take my articles out of my Google Drive, take the quotes, and copy and paste them in here for me. And then I went through and checked off, what the themes were. But I found, as I kept going, that when you get into a more extensive literature review, that you only have so much time in a day. So I paid this person for maybe 10 hours, I think, where she copied and pasted, and then I just worked this end of the document. So there you go. You're always looking for themes, as I said. So I ended up making this so that anything that is checked connects to the associated tab, if that makes sense. So like stress, anytime I marked the box stress, those particular articles and the quotes that I pulled all came up here on the stress page, because then I could read through and see, okay, do I have something going? Do I see a pattern myself? Because that's a really important part of doing your research. And then I'm going to hop over to my dissertation. Then you can, you're looking to be able to put more than one researcher with your idea. So here, one of the common themes I found was the financial cost of teacher turnover, and that can be related to the continual recruitment and training of new teachers. So I didn't just find one resource, pointing to that, or research pointing to that. I found 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's an important part of a literature review. I'm not asking you to do that in this class, but I do want you to see why it's so important to organize your work, because eventually, if you go further into doctoral work, this is what you want to see. You want to see that the idea presented has some backup of multiple researchers. Now, what does that mean to you right now? When you're pulling research to read, if you find information that is heavily sourced like this, then that is a good piece of information for you to be able to say, these individuals listed found this information. So you're looking for patterns. I hope that all of that made sense. I just wanted to give you an idea of how you can organize your research. You're looking for 6 articles for your annotated bibliography for your draft, and then 10 for the total for the project. So hopefully seeing how this expands for doctoral work is helpful to you. And as always, if you have any questions, you can always shoot an email. And I hope that you are having a great day and a great week.